31. You have problem with this, right? 731. So for these type of numbers, first verify 7 multiple and then 9 multiple. 9 multiple is very easy. This is not divisible by 9. Forget about it. Is this divisible by 7? 700 times is 700, extra you have 31. 31 is not 7 multiple. So in second case, verify it with either 13 or 17 or 19. You will find one among these three. Any type of numbers. First verify 7 multiple and then 9 multiple. That is very easy. You need not to use pen for it. If you are not getting, verify these three numbers, you will get one among those numbers. That's guaranteed. Okay? Right, come on. Is it divisible by 13? 13, wait, I'll tell you. 13 6 times? 78. 13 60 times will be 780. Difference between these two numbers is 49. 49 is not a multiple of 13, so this is not a multiple of 13. Clear? Right. Next. 17 4 times? 17 double, 34 double, 68. Apart from 68, 4 times is 68, 40 times would be 680. Apart from 680, how much you have? 51. Is 51 17 multiple? How many times? So multiple is 43. As this is positive number, this is positive and this is negative. 26. Okay? Right. Try this method for any numbers. It works. Apart from this, any other number? 35. 35 combination. That's clear, right? 2x square plus x minus 3 is equal to 0. You have numbers here itself. Plus 3x minus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0, and this is 2x square. Take x common, that will be 2x plus 3. Take minus 1 common, that becomes 2x plus 3 is equal to 0. X is equal to 1 and then minus 3 by 2. You have numbers there itself. And the other one is very easy. 2y square minus 7y plus 5 is equal to 0. Let us write it as minus 2y minus 5y. Product is positive only, right? Minus into minus plus. 2 5 is 10. Satisfied. 2y square and then plus y is equal to 0. Take 2y common, that becomes minus y minus 1. Minus 5 common, y minus 1. So y is equal to 1 and then 5 by 2, 5 by 2. This is 1 and then minus 3 by 2. Both are equal. X less than y. X less than y. X less than y. Less than or equal. Next. 36 to 40. Ma? 36. Yeah. 36, 270, 271, 276, 295, 360, and the next number. Difference, right? 1, 5, 19, 65. Yeah, coming. Into 3 plus 2 into 3 plus 4 into 3 plus 8. Next should be into 3 plus 16. Let's verify last digit. How many options are ending with 1? 2 options are there. Right. 2 options are there in your options. 65 3 times 195 plus 16. Wait. Hey. 65 3 times 195 plus 16. Take 5. You'll have 11 there. 211. Need to add these two numbers. 5 7 1. 37. 100, 52, 82, 213, and then This is clearly, it looks like half plus 2. This is into 1.5. If it is 1.5, you need to add half of this number. Half of this number is 26. If you add 26, this becomes 78, and you have 4 here, plus 4. If it is into half and this is into 1.5, next would be into 2.5. 82 2 times 164, half of this number 41. Here you have 2, 4. Next would be 6 or 8. Could be anything. 6 or 8. Let's see this. What is this? 205. 205, and then you have 213. So this is plus 8. So next would be into 3.5. It will be next plus 16. 3.5 plus 16. So answer definitely ends with 0.5. You have only one such option, you can go for it, but you have 3 options, so you have to solve it. No other way. Any other question? Right. 41 to 45. 30. 39. 39. 5, 7.5, 30, 225. So this is into 1.5. This is into 4. This is into 7.5. Difference between these two numbers is 2.5. Difference between these two numbers is 3.5. Next should be 4.5. 4.5 plus 7.5 in the sense 12 times. So you need to go for 12 times of this number. 10 times is 2250. 2 times of this number is 450. 2700. Done? Right, can I go for 41 to 45? All. Okay. So distribution of students passed from different specializations at B school in 2008, total number of students 1600. So you have total 1600 students, and you have segregation: marketing 15%, HR 17%, systems 14%, finance 18%, administration what? 16%, operations 14%, and then business what? 6%. And then the next table gives you ratio of student passed in first class to second class. All students passed either in first or second, so no failures, not even third class. You have only 2 classes, first and then second division. So from marketing you have, let me write ratio here, 5:7, 7:10, HR, systems 7:9, 4, 5, 15, 17, 3, 4, 11, 13, right. This is the one. So we have already discussed, we'll discuss ratio in terms of parts. Total how many parts? 12 parts. Is it 12 multiple? So look at here. Look at here. If you calculate 15%, 10% is 160, half is 80, 160, 80, 240 is 12 multiple. Right? For calculation, first use this number. If you can get it easily, then it's okay. Otherwise, try with this number. Total how many parts? 17 parts, 17% easy. Total 16 parts. This is not 16 multiple, but this is 16 multiple. Total 9 parts, 9 multiple. Total 32 parts is equal to 16%. Each part is half percent. You can do it here. Total 7 parts, 14%, 2 times. 24. This is 1/4. But these are not 4 multiples. Let's try 24% on this number. 24 parts on this. Is that okay? Right? Now, let's see first question. Out of the number of students passed in second class from HR, 45% are female. How many male students have passed in second class from HR? Right. So total how many parts? We have 17 parts. 17 parts is equal to 17%. Each part is 1%. So 10 parts in the sense 10%. Out of 10%, 45% are female. Remaining would be 55%. So now you need to calculate 55% of what? 10 parts. 10 parts in the sense 10%. 10% in the sense 160. So you need to calculate 55% on this number. But before that, wait a minute. If you want to calculate 55%, answer should be 55 multiple should be a multiple of 11. Look at your options, how many 11 multiples are there? 2 are there. If you have only one, you need not to try it. If you have only one 11 multiple, you need not to try this, right? 55% will be definitely more than half. More than half in the sense more than 80. Should be more than 80. 11 multiple, you have only 188, close. Next. Or else, getting 55% is easy also. Half plus 10% of that number. 5% in the sense 10% of 50 only, right? Next. Number of students passed in second class from systems specialization is approximately what percent of the total number of students passed in second class from the 7 specializations together? You have to calculate this. It takes time. Simplification takes time. Second class students from systems. Total 16 parts. 14% of this number. Let me calculate 14% of 1600 and that will be equal to 16 parts. But second class students are 9 parts. 9 parts will be 14% of 900. 16 parts 1600, 9 parts 900. That's it. Is that okay? 900% of 14 or 14% of this, whatever it is. 10% is 90, 1% is 9, 4% is 9 4 36, 90 plus 36 126. So these candidates are 1 how much? 26. 17 parts 17%, 1 part 1%, 10 parts 10%, 160. 9 parts 18%, 1 part 2%, 5 parts 10%, again 160. 32 parts 16%, 1 part is half. 17 parts in the sense half of 17, 8 and half. So 8.5% of 1600. 85% of 160. Divided by 10 into 10. Is that okay? 85% in the sense subtracting 15%. 10% 16. Half 8. 16 8 24. Subtract 24. Subtract 30, add 6. Subtract 30, 130, add 6, 136. So these guys are 136. 7 parts 14%, 1 part 2%, 4 parts 8%. 8% of this number. 10% minus 2%. 10% is 160. 2% is 32. 160 minus 32. First subtract 30, then subtract 2. Subtract 30, 130. Subtract 2, 128. Let me finish this. How many parts? 12 parts. 12 parts is equal to 15% of 1600. 10% is 160. Half is 80. Total 240. 7 parts is equal to 12 2 times and then is 0. 7 2 times and then is 0. 140. Total 24. 24 parts. 24 parts is equal to 6% of 1600. Let me first get 6%. 1% is 16. 6% is 96. 4 times. Second class 13 parts. 13 4 times. Double. 13 double 26. Double 52. So these are all total number of candidates who got second class specialization. Right. So look at your actual question. Number of students passed in second class from system specialization. System, how many are here? 126. And you need to calculate it percentage with respect to what? Approximately what percent of the total number of students passed in second class from all the 7 specializations together? Right, you need to add everything. 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 600, 600, keep it aside, okay? 700, 720, 780, 810, 810, 830, 880, 890, 890 plus 12, 902. Out of 902, you need to calculate 126 forms what percent. What about 10% of this number? 10% is 90. And again you need to add 36. Again you need to add 36. What is 1%? 9. This is 9 4 times, right? So that will be 4%. Approximately 14%. Clear? Next, 43. Number of students. See, if you have second division values, you can calculate other values also, right? Next, 43. Number of students passed in first class from marketing and operations together. Marketing, operations together is what percent of the number of students passed in second class from these two specializations together, right? So total what percent we have? Total what percent we have? 20. So 29% of 1600 candidates have passed in first and then second division. 29% in this, get 30%, subtract 1%. 10% is 160, 30% is 480, minus 1% is 16. So total 464. So 464 candidates are from first and then second division. Out of that, 140 are here who passed in second division and 128 are here. 140, 128, 268. So if you subtract 268 from this, that gives information about first division. Yes or no? Correct? So let me treat this number as 264 plus 4. 268, I will treat it as 264 plus 4. First subtract 264, you will have 200. 200 minus 4, 196. So 196 candidates are students who passed in first division, and second class 268. Were you asked to calculate percentage? Percentage only. Into 100. Approximate, look at that. Rounded off to nearest integer. Rounded off to nearest integer in the sense approximate. But first look at your options. Options are very nearby. 70 and then 75. 70 and then 75. Yes or no? So first let me calculate 75%. Very easy to get 75%, right? How? Half plus half. Half, 1, 3, 4. Again half, 6, 7. Total 2, 0, 1. Are you getting my point? So 75% is equal to 201, but our number is 196. So again you need to subtract 5 from this number. What about 1% of this number? 2.68. If you need to subtract 5, that will be near about 2%, right? So if you can subtract 2%, answer would be near about 73%. So my intention to get 75% is because of options. So if you can calculate 75%, if so, you can answer one question. If it is less than this number, if 75% is less than 196, 196 will be definitely more than 75%, and you have 77 as one answer. Are you getting? And if it is less and very close to each other, 73. Otherwise remaining options are very nearby, 70, 69 and then 67. So if I want to calculate 70% from this, because 75% is equal to 201, you need to subtract 5%, and 5% is easy to calculate, because by looking at the number itself we can say 10% is 26.4. 5% will be half of that, 13.4. You need to subtract 13.4 so that I can calculate 70%. Easy to calculate, right? Otherwise, if you want to calculate 70%, need to calculate 50% and then need to add 20%, or else 10% into 7. Both are typical when compared with this addition. Clear? Next. 744. What is the ratio between number of students passed in first class from finance and then finance, and the number of students passed in second class from international business? International business, where is this? International business, okay. So from finance you need to calculate first class, and from last one, business, international business, you need to calculate second class. So your denominator value is 52. 52. 4. Answer is either first or second. I don't want to even calculate second number. Before that, let me verify my options. My options are 32 13, 31 13, 31 12, 32 15, 33 14. Denominator is 52. If you calculate numerator, you will have some number, some x, y, z. After that, you need to go for cancellation. Your denominator should be factor of 52. 14 is not factor. 15 is not factor. 12 is not factor. 13 is the only number which is factor for 52. So answer must be either these two, one of these two. Like that, if you have only one number which is a factor of 52, need not to calculate this numerator also. Right? As we have two options, you are forced to do it. Come on, for finance. 9 parts is 18%, 1 part is 2%. Somewhere we have calculated 8%. This is the one, this is 8%. 7 parts is 14%. 1 part is 2%, 4 parts is 8%. Here also you need to calculate 8%. 8% is 128, so let me reuse that, 128. You know that you need to get 13 in denominator. In the sense, you need to go for division with 4. Half of this number, 64. Again half, 32. Factor of 52 is 13 only, right? 52 divided by 4. So you need to divide numerator with 4. Next. 45. Out of the students passed from administration specialization, 85% of the students who passed in first class and 75% of the students who passed in second class got placed at campus. Total how many students from this discipline did not get placement? Did not get placement. From which department? Administration. This is the one. 17 parts is 136, right? Yes or no? Total how many parts? 32 parts is equal to 16%. 1 part is half percent. Difference between these two numbers is 2 parts. In the sense should be 1% difference. 1% difference in the sense should be 16. So if it is 136, subtract 16 from this number, you will get the other one. Are you getting? So 120 are first class division candidates, and from second class you have 136. Out of this, 85% got placement. So candidates who did not get placed are 15%. 10%, 12. Half, 6. 12 plus 6, 18. And 75% of this number got placed. Who did not get placement are 25%. 25% of this number in the sense half and half. For time being I will treat this number as 140. Half of 140. Again half of 70. So from 35 I need to subtract 1. 25% of 4 is 1 only, right? 35 minus 1, 34. You need to add these two numbers, answer is 52. Okay. Next. 46 to 50. Yes? Yeah, I think once we got table, I think you can do it. Or else should I explain everything? Let me form the table first. Boys చెప్పవా కొద్దిగా నీట్గా ఉంచమని. Right, in an institute having 1200 student boys and girls are in the ratio 7:8. So total how many parts we have? 15 parts. 15 parts is equal to 1200. Each part is 8 times. 15 8 times 120. So in the sense 80 times. Right? So boys are 7 parts and girls are 8 parts. 7 8 times 56. So total boys are 560. Total girls are 8 8 64 640. These are girls and these are boys. Clear? Total how much? 1200. మీ దుంపదేగా మీరు 15 parts is equal to 1200. 80 times 7 parts is equal to 7 8 56 and then a 0. 8 parts is 8 8 64 and then a 0. మరి అంత విచిత్రంగా చూస్తారు. నెక్స్ట్ కమాన్. స్టూడెంట్స్ ఆర్ ప్లేయింగ్ 1 or more games out of badminton, table tennis, basketball. 1 or more in the sense 1 game or 2 games or all games. Out of boys 15% play only badminton. So only badminton are 15%. First let me write numbers as it is. Then we can go for conversion. Don't go for conversion now. And then table tennis. Only table tennis 10% and 20%. 20% what? Basketball. 10% play basketball and table tennis. 25% play badminton and table tennis. 10% play okay, 15%. 15% play basketball and badminton. Remaining boys play all the 3 games. Remaining in the sense, let me calculate in terms of percentage. 40, 50, 70, 80, 95. Remaining is 5%. So this includes badminton, basketball and then table tennis. This is information about male, boys and girls. Out of girls, 20% play only badminton. 20%. Next, 25% play only table tennis. 25%. 10% play basketball. 10%. 15% basketball and table tennis. 15%. 5% play badminton, table tennis. What? 5%, right? 10% play basketball and then badminton. 10%. Remaining will be all 15, 30, 40, 65, 85. Remaining is 15%. Don't go for conversion, do it when it is really required. What is the difference between number of boys playing only one of the 3 games and the number of girls playing one of the 3 games? One of the 3 games in the sense only one game. Only one game. Total what percent of boys are here? 45% of. So 45% of what? 560. These are number of boys who play only one game. And about girls, 55%. 55% of 640. In terms of number, 640 is more than this, and in terms of percentage also this is more. So let me first calculate this value, right? 55% in the sense half plus 10% of it. Half in the sense 320 plus 10% of 320, 352. Half in the sense 280. 280, and then I need to subtract 10% of this number, 28. Subtract 28. Subtract 30, add 2. Subtract 30, add 2. And you need to calculate difference of these two numbers. How much? Ante. Done. 100. Next, what percent of the students do not play table tennis? Table tennis. What percent of the students? Total students, right? Yes or no? Need to calculate in terms of percentage with respect to total candidates, which includes both male and female. Those who do not play table tennis. This one. This one. You have table tennis here. You have table tennis here. You don't have table tennis. You have table tennis. So you need to consider only these 3 numbers. In terms of percentage, 15, 35, 50. 50% of 560, which is 280. 280 boys do not play table tennis. And about girls, 20%, 30%, 40%. 40% of this number. 10%, 64. Double, double. Keep 4 aside. We'll concentrate about 4 later. Let me treat 64 as 60 plus 4. 60 double, 120. 120 double, 240. Keep it aside. 4 double, 8. 8 double, 16. 240, 16. 256. These candidates out of 1200 into 100. 280. If you take 220 from this number here, you will have 36. Yes? 280 plus 220, 500. So total number is 536. Were you asked to calculate exact or approximate? That an exact number, though it is exact number, look at your options. Look at your options. 44, 36, 48, 42. Enough. What about 50% of this number? 600. 600, which is far less than that. So 50% is 600. What about 10% of this number? 120. If we subtract 120, that will be 480, which is more than that. In the sense, answer is more than 40% but less than 50%. How many such options are there? How many are there? 3 options are there. Now, look at this. You know that 50% is 600. 40% is how much? 480. 45% you can estimate, right? Middle number in between these two. Difference between these two numbers is 120. Middle number will be 60. Subtract 60, that becomes 540. Our numerator is 536, which is nearby this number, less than this. Answer should be nearby 45% but less than 45%. You have only one number. 44 something you have, right? That's your answer. 44, 2 by 3%. For this calculation, do you need to use pen? 50% half. Kanapadutadi kada? 40% also you can see. Difference between these two numbers is 120, which is 60. Middle number is 60. 45% is 60 less than 600, 540. You have 536 here. Nearby 45%, you have only one answer. Next. Number of boys playing all the 3 games is what percent of number of girls playing all the 3 games? What percent of, right? So, boys who play all 3 games, 5%. 5% of what? 560. 10% is 56 half, 28. Is what percent of? 15% of 64, 640. 10% of 640 is 64. Half, 32. 64, 32, 96. Approximate or exact? Need to be very careful. Because your options are 29, 1 by 6, 29, 2 by 3, 28, 2 by 3, 29, 1 by 3. But you know that your answer is near about 30%. 30%. 10%? 9.6. I will treat that number as 0.4 less than 10. 30% will be 1.2 less than 30. Yes, which is 28.8. From this number you need to subtract 0.8, so that result will be 28. Now you need 0.8. Come here. %? Not required. What about 1%? 0.96. I. Divided by 12? Divided by 12? 10% of 8? 0.8. Are you getting? So first divide it by 12 and then you need to take 10%. 100 divided by 12, because in terms of percentage this is 100%. 100% and 10% of it is 10%. 1/12 of 10%. 1/12 of 10%. 10 by 12. 5 by 6. So you need to subtract 5 by 6 from this number. Answer is 29, 1 by 6. అర్థం కాలే? Cancellation with 4, 24 times, 25 times. 4 25s will give you 100, right? Like that, how many 4s are here? 7. In the sense, this value is 700, right? 700 by 24. 24 how many times? 2 times. 48. Subtract 48 from this number. You'll have 22. And then 0. 220. 220 divided by 24. How many times? You know your answer, right? Which is 29. ఇందాక చెప్పా కదా ఆల్రెడీ. అది కూడా రాకపోతే ఇంకేం చేస్తాం? 220. Our number is 220. 20 for 10 times is 240. This is 20 less. 20 and 24, how much is the difference? 4. So you still have 4 here. 4 by 24. 1 by 6%. Clear? సార్ సూపర్ చెప్పాడు కదా. I'll tell you. Again I'll explain. Weight divided by 96. Options are very near by 30%, so let me calculate 30%. 10% of this number is 9.6. We will treat 9.6 as 0.4 less than 10. This is 10%. Now you want 30%. Into 3. 3 times of this number, 30. 3 times of this number, 1.2. 1.2 less than 30. 28.8. From this you need to subtract 0.8. Then you will get 28. I want 8 from this number. 100% of denominator? 100% of denominator? 96. 10% of this denominator? 9.6. Divided by 12? 0.8. What is 9.6 in terms of percentage? 10%. 10% divided by 12 in the sense 5 by 6 only, right? Yes or no? Do you need to add or subtract? So you need to subtract 5/6 of this number. Subtracting 5/6 in the sense subtract 1 and then add 1 by 6. 29, 1 by 6%. Got it? See, that calculation completely depends on these numbers. అది రన్ టైంలో మారిపోతూ ఉంటాయి అవి. ఒక్కొక్క దగ్గర ఒక్కొక్కలా చేస్తాం. There is no particular rule for it. Next. How many boys play at least 2 games? Boys who play at least 2 games. Last 4 numbers, right? Yes or no? In terms of percentage, 20, 45, 55. Half plus 10% of it. Half of the number is 280. 10% of this number is 28. Total 308. What is the ratio between number of boys playing badminton and number of girls playing badminton? Is it about only badminton or badminton? If it is only badminton, this is the one. If it is badminton, you will have to count numbers where all you have B, badminton. So you need to count this and this one, and then this one. You're asked about ratio only. 20, 45, 60. 60% of 560, don't calculate it. And for girls also consider the same. 25, 30, 50. 50% of what? 640. 0, 0. 0, 0. Any more cancellations? 8? No. 4. 4 how many times? 14 times. 4 how many times? 16 times. Again cancellation? 7 times. 8 times. Again cancellation with 2. 4 times. 3 times. 7 3s 21 by 20. 21 is to 20. Don't go for conversion. If you go for conversion, you'll have to spend some time here. And denominator number also. You need to process this for 3 times. First you need to go for conversion in numerator, denominator, and then cancellation. Takes time. Whenever you're asked about ratio or percentage, consider numbers as it is. You can go for cancellations there. Right, next. (51 to 55). Are you sure? My way will be completely different. Cancellation indake చూశారు. నా పద్ధతి వేరు, మీ పద్ధతి వేరు. I am sure. If you want to leave these questions, I am okay. 385 divided by 35 plus 170 into 24 is equal to x into 12.12 something. Right, no problem. 35 11 times, right? 10 times of this number 350. Apart from that you have one more 35. So total this is 11 times. You need to calculate this. 24 times of this number. 20 times plus 4 times. 10 times of this number 1700. 20 times 3400. Again I need to calculate 4 times. 4 times will be 20% of this. Because this is 20 times, 4 times will be 20% of this. 10% is 340, and then you need to add 680. Add 600, 4000, 80 plus 11, 91. So total 4091 divided by 12 point something, which is equal to x. 1200 times 1200 times 1200. 300 times 3600. Again still you need to add 491. 10 times of this number 120. 20 times 240. 40 times 480. Near about that number. So this is 40 times. Total 340. Next, 82% of 500 into 3/5 of 280 divided by 8. 8 5s 40. 0 0 4 7 times 7 3s, so into 21. What is right hand side value? So this is what you need to calculate, right? Okay. 82% of this number or 500% of 82. Is that okay? Yes. 500% in the sense 5 times of this number. 5 times will be half of 10 times. 10 times is 820. Half of that is 410 into 21. 10 times 20 times plus 1 time. 10 times of this number 4100. 20 times 8200 plus 1 time in the sense 410. Total 8610. 8600. Next, 8989. So I'll treat this number as 8990 minus 32 into 15 into 25 plus something is equal to 2500. Okay. 25 times. 4 25s? 100. How many such 4s are here? 8. So that will be 800, right? 800 into 15. 10 times of 800? 8000. Half of this? 4000. Total 12,000. So this entire value is 12,000. Take this to right hand side. That becomes plus 12,000. And you have x here. And take this 2500 to left hand side. That becomes minus 2500. Right? Wait. Look at your options. You have comfortable difference. So let me treat this number as 9,000. 9,000 minus 2,500. 6,500. Subtract 6,500 from this number. 5,500. Your x value is 5,500. Next, 54. When you have continuous division, keep the first number in numerator and multiply remaining numbers in denominator. Okay, what is this? 7700 times is 7700, right? You have 10 extra, need not worry about it. So 100 times, 100 answer. Yes. Next, 2496 into 16 divided by 2/7 of 279. This itself is a complete number, right? Yes or no? Right. What is this? Divided by 2/7 of 2. Yeah, you can treat it as 280. How many times? 40. 42 times divided by 80. So this comes here, 80. 16, 5 times divided by 5. I'll divide this number with 10 and I will take 2 times of that number. Divided by 10, 249.6, near about 250. 2 times of that number, 500. Fifth option. Next. Over? 56. A gold biscuit of 11 kg contained only 82% gold and the rest copper. If it was alloyed with another gold biscuit with the resulting alloy had a mass of 28 kgs, total weight is 28 kgs, and contained 90% of gold. Find the percentage of gold in the second biscuit. Right. So 2 ways. One is traditional, other one is allegation. You have total 11 kgs which has 82% gold. This is gold content in first part. And total quantity is 28 kgs after mixing some second type with 11 kgs. So second part will be of 17 kgs only, right? Are you getting? So first part is 11 kgs. You are adding something to this. After that it becomes 28 kg. So you are going to add 17 kgs of second type. And first type has 82% gold. And you are asked about this one. And total has what percent of gold? 90% of gold. So 82% of 11 kg plus X percent of 17 kg will give you 90% of 28 kg. 82% of 11 kgs. X percent of 17 kgs will be equal to 19% of 28. 82% of 11 or 11% of 82, one and the same. 10% is 8.2, 1% is 0.82. 8.2 plus 0.82 will give you 9.02. So total value is 9.02 plus X percent of 17 is equal to 90% of this. Need to subtract 10%. 10% is 2.8. Need to subtract 2.8 from this number. Subtract 3, add 0.2. That becomes 25.2. Take this value to right hand side, that becomes minus 9.02. 20 minus 0.2. 18. 25 minus 9. 16. X percent of 17 is equal to this much. By 100 into 17 is equal to this much. X is equal to 16, 18 divided by 17. Hundred times of this number? 1700. 1700. 100 times is 1700. And you need to take difference of 82. 5 times of this number? 85. So you are not even you don't need to subtract 5 times also. So you need to subtract a number which is less than 5. So answer should be more than 95. How many options are more than 95? Just above 95. Just above 95. Only one, 95.2. This is one way. Takes time. The other way is. Let's go for which one? alligation. First type, second type. When you mix it, you'll get mixture. And this is the alligation, difference. First type, how many cages you have? Quantity, 11 cages. Second type, 17. So that should be 11 parts and then 17 parts. Mixture has gold, 90%. First one, 82%. And this is what you need to calculate. Difference of these two numbers, 8. 17 parts is equal to 8%. And like that, you need to calculate 11 parts is equal to how much percent? Wait a minute. And alligation part, you have a condition. This number must be more than one number but less than one of the number, right? Yes or no? So hence this number must be more than 90. So whatever the 11 parts you will get, you need to add here. Yes? Now, this is not 8 multiple. So you will not have direct numbers. Let me verify it. Half of this number? Half of this number? 8 and a half is less than that. Just less than that. Half of this number? 5.5. So here half of this number is 8 and a half. From 8 and a half you are going to subtract 0.5. Half of this number is 5.5. Do you need to subtract 0.5 or less than that number? Hey, matladru. Less than 0.5 only, right? Yes or no? Here it is 17 parts. So for 17 parts you are subtracting 0.5. For 11 parts you are not supposed to subtract 0.5. So somewhere it will be 0.3. This is 5.2. Near about 5.2. So 11 parts is equal to 5.2 and you need to add 5.2 to this number. Answer is 95.2. Are you getting? Alligation method, maybe this is logical, but won't take much time. Next. Two runners run in the same direction along a circular track of 2 kilometers long. The faster overtakes the slower one in 30 minutes, every 30 minutes. Find their speeds if the faster one completes the track 1 minute sooner than the other. Okay. So you have a circular track here. And whose length is 2 kilometers. And the faster one meets the slower one for every 30 minutes. What is distance between these two persons now? Both are at here, this same place. What is distance between these two persons? Distance between these two persons. నేను అడిగింది అర్థమైందా? They both are at this particular place, starting point. What is distance between these two persons? Amma? 0. Other formula cheppandi. 0, that's it. Who said 2 kilometers? 0 ne కనపడుతుందా? 2 kilometers కూడా కనపడాలండి. After how much time will they meet each other at starting point అని అంటాం? This is one question. The second question, when will they meet for the first time? If this is your question, how will you do? When will they meet for the first time? First time కి మీట్ అవ్వడానికి ఎంత టైం పడుతుంది అని అడిగారు అనుకోండి, ఎలా చేస్తారు? Say, let's say first person speed is x kilometer per hour and second person speed is y kilometer per hour. They both have started from the same point at 8 a.m. in the morning. When will they meet for the first time? How will you do it? Both are moving in same direction. When will they meet for the first time? Don't know? తెలీదా క్వశ్చన్? మీ కర్మ, నాకు సంబంధం లేదు. Right. So distance between these two persons now is 2 kilometers. And they said faster one meets slower one for every 30 minutes. 30 minutes in the sense, what is time in hours? Half an hour. So for half an hour he will meet the first one. Yes? Right. So this is time difference. This is time difference. Distance between two persons is 2 kilometers. If slower one wants to meet, the faster one wants to meet slower one, as they both are moving in same direction, you must take relative speed. Let's say slower one speed is x kilometer per hour, and you need to calculate the faster one. And relative speed in the sense, let's say if it is y. Relative speed in the sense s1 minus s2, y minus x. From this relation you can say y minus x is equal to 4 kilometer per hour. Look at your options. Y minus x should be equal to 4 kilometer per hour. Difference between their speed should be equal to 4 kilometer per hour. How many such options are there? First option satisfies. Second one eliminated. Third eliminated. Fourth 4 kilometer per hour. Fifth one eliminated. Yes or no? So difference of their speeds should be 4 kilometer per hour. You have only two options. One is 24 kilometer per hour. Second one 20 kilometer per hour. This is first option. And fourth option also says 20 and then 16. One condition we have verified. Faster one meets slower one for every 30 minutes, in the sense half an hour. This is time. Distance by speed. Distance between two persons is 2 kilometers. Relative speed is y minus x. From this y minus x is equal to 4. Like that we have only two options, either first or fourth. Now this condition is over. What is second condition? Look at the second condition. What is second condition in your question? Faster one completes the track 1 minute sooner than the other one. In the sense, he will reach the starting point 1 minute before the slower one reaches starting point. Right? Now, let's see. If this is the one, answer should be either 2420 or 2016. I don't want to use x. Let me take first option. If so, this is my answer. If not, 2016 is my final answer. Need not to verify that. Let me verify with this. Time taken by the faster one to reach starting point. Distance is 2 kilometers with the speed 24 kilometer per hour. So that will be 2 by 24. Time taken by the faster one. Right? And time taken by the slower one to reach starting point with the speed 20 kilometer per hour, and he need to travel 2 kilometers. So that will be 2 by 20. And this difference should be equal to 1 minute. If satisfies, this is my answer. Right? 1 minute in the sense, in terms of hours, this is 1 by 60 hour. 2 by 20 in the sense, 1 by 10. 2 by 24 in the sense, 1 by 12. What is LCM? 60. 10 how many times? 6 times. 12 how many times? 5 times. Is this equal to 1 by 60? Hence first one is my right answer. Else I will go with fourth option. Whatever conditions that you have in question, you verify that. That's it. Need not to take x and y. Next. 58. The compound interest on certain sum of money for 2 years is 660 rupees at 6.1/4%. Compound interest for 2 years is 660 rupees at the rate 6.1/4% per annum. Determine the simple interest at 10% per annum for 2 years on the same sum. We are asked about simple interest for 2 years at 10%. In the sense that will be, come on, 20%. At 10% per annum simple interest for first year will be 10%. Second year also 10%. Total 2 years 20%. Compound interest for 2 years at the rate of 6.1/4% is 660. Now, one way is first year compound interest. I am trying to calculate compound interest. 6.1/4% in the sense 6.25%. First year you will get 6.25%. Second year also you will get 6.25% and 6.25% of this number. You need to calculate that and you will have to add here. I don't want to do this method. I am telling you the way. You need to calculate 6.25% of this number and you need to add here. You will get total percentage and that is equal to 660. 20% is equal to how much? This is what you need to calculate. Okay, this is one way. I don't want to try this because getting 6.25% of 6.25% takes time. Don't want to do it. Now, let me go for other logic. 6.1/4%, which is equal to 25/4%. Right? So, your 25% should be divisible by 4. Must be divisible by 4. If 25% is divisible by 4, 50% should be divisible by 8. 100% should be divisible by 16. Yes or no? So you need to find your number which is a 16 multiple, your 100% value. Are you getting my point? Yes? So your 100% value should be a multiple of 16. And now you are taking 20% of this number. If it is 16x, let's say, you need to calculate 20% of this number. 10% of this number is 1.6. 20% is 3.2. Answer should be 32 multiple. Answer should be 32 multiple. How many are there? Completely you can eliminate third option and fourth option because they are odd numbers. Yes or no? And second option is clearly it says 10 times 32, 5 times 1600, 1532, 1524 you have. Difference is 76. 76 is not 32 multiple. Second option eliminated. Either first or fifth. 1024, which is 32 square. 2 to the power 10, 32 square, which is a multiple of 32. Fifth option, 640. That is also 32 multiple. Either your answer must be first number or fifth number. Okay? Let me take first number. And if 20% is equal to 1024, 10% will be 512. 100% will be 5120. And let me verify my compound interest for 2 years, will that be equal to 660 or not? I need to calculate 6.1/4%, which is 25/4%. Correct? Half of this number? 2, 5, 6, 0. 50%. Half of this number? 1, 2, 8, 0. 25%. By 4. 3, 20. Yes? This is 6.1/4%. So first year you will get compound interest. Hey, what is this 100% value? 5120. So first year compound interest is 320. Second year also you will get 320 plus 6.1/4% of this number. 50%? 160. 25%? 80. If 25% is 80, 25/4% will be 80/4, which is 20. Is that equal to 660? Yes? Yes or no? 1025 is right answer. Okay. Otherwise you will have to use formula. Or else you need to calculate 1/4% of 6.1/4%. The first method that I have discussed. Next. two equal amounts of money are lent out at 6% and then 5% simple interest respectively at the same time. Equal amounts, principals are same and then same timing. The farmer is recovered 2 years earlier than the later, and the amount so recovered in each case is equal to 2880. Amount recovered in the sense amount received, the amount that they lent out. You're asked about principal. Right. So one fellow has given it for 6%, the other one at 5%. He received amount 2 years earlier than the other one, right? So if this guy takes X years to receive some amount, and this fellow will take X minus 2 years only. This is time period, N value, and this is R value. Principals are same. If amounts are same, it says simple interests are same. Simple interest obtained in this particular case, P N R by 100 is equal to simple interest obtained in the second case, P N R by 100. Cancel, PP cancel. This is 5x, 6x minus 12. X is equal to how much? 12. So X value is equal to 12. Simple interest obtained in 12 years at 5% per annum is 60%. Amount received will be 160%. So 160% is given as 2880. You're asked about principal. 100% is how much? Forget about 0. You can discuss that later. Forget about 0. If 160% is 2880, 16% will be this much, right? Yes or no? Right. This is 17 square minus 1. Yes or no? In the sense 16, 18 times only, right? $1800. You understand what I want to convey here? $17 minus 1 into 17 plus 1 will be equal to 17 square minus 1. This is 289 minus 1, 17 square minus 1. So those numbers are 16 and then 18. Right? So if it is 16, the other one is 18. Very clear. Okay? But you should get that idea. Getting idea is important. Come on, next. See, everyone knows A plus B into A minus B formula. A square minus B square. We are using that application. Come on, next. Or else you will have to manually verify it. 16, how many times is 288? You will have to do it. Next. A man is able to save 15% of his wages. But if his wages were raised by 2 rupees a week, and his savings expenses were increased by 10%, his annual savings would be diminished by 26. What is his weekly wages? A year being taken as 52 weeks exactly. Right. If you have exactly 52 weeks, you're asked about weekly wages. Weekly salary, right? So let us discuss everything in terms of what? Weekly. Because you're asked about weekly salary, I want to discuss everything in terms of weekly only. Okay, you have income, expenditure, savings, 3 different values. Always income is 100%, right? Out of income, expenditure, savings, which 2 variables are depends on third variable? Which 2 variables depends on third variable? ఇదిగో తిట్లు తింటారు మీ ఇష్టం చెప్తున్నా. తిడతా, మామూలుగా తిట్టాను. ఎదురుగా కూర్చొని ఉంటారు. మగవాళ్ళకి ఎంత అన్యాయం జరుగుతుంది అసలు ఇక్కడ. మీరు ముందు కూర్చుంటారు, కూర్చోవటంలో తప్పు లేదు. విగ్రహ పుష్టి నైవేద్యం నష్టి. కూర్చొని మాటలు చెప్తారా అంటే అడిగిన వాటికి ఇట్లా చూస్తూ ఉంటారు. ఏం ఉపయోగం? మీ ప్లేస్లో మగపిల్లలు ఉంటే వాళ్ళకి తిట్లు పడేవి. రేపటి నుంచి కూర్చుంటానంటే కూర్చోండి, కానీ కూర్చుంటే మాట్లాడండి. చూస్తూ ఉంటారు ఎదురుగా దాని. ఇంకా which two variables on depends on third variable I am saying? Income, expenditure, savings. Income depends on expenditure. Income depends on expenditure. That is applicable only for staff selection commission group B officers. Their income depends on their expenditure. That is applicable only for SSC group B officers, especially income tax department, excise department. మీకు అర్థం కాలేదు కదా? నన్ను పెళ్ళయిందనుకో 4 ఏళ్ళ తర్వాత సంవత్సరానికి ఒక రోజు వస్తుంది కదా కేర్ఫుల్గా ఉండాల్సిన రోజు. 2 వస్తాయి. ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్తో చెప్తున్నా. 1, పెళ్ళైన తర్వాత ఇంపార్టెంట్ 2 days అంటే ఏంది? మ్యారేజ్ డే. ఒళ్ళు దగ్గర పెట్టుకోవాల్సిన రోజు అది. మర్చిపోయావా మిగిలిన రోజులు మొత్తం నీకు టార్చరే. 2వ రోజు ఏంది? ఎవరి బర్త్డే? నీది కాదు, మేడం గారి బర్త్డే. నీది మర్చిపోయినా ఒకటే, ఆవిడది మర్చిపోయావా చచ్చావే నువ్వు. ఇంకా కన్సిక్యూటివ్లీ ఐ ఫర్గాట్ మై వర్స్ బర్త్డే ఫర్ 3 years కన్సిక్యూటివ్. 3 years మర్చిపోయా. స్టిల్ బతికి బట్ట కట్టానంటే ఎంత మంచిదో చూడండి. ఆ తర్వాత నుంచి 3rd yearలో నేను మా మరదలికి చెప్పా, 1 week ముందు నుంచి ఎవ్రీడే రిమైండ్ చేయాలి. అది తన జాబ్. నాకు ఒక అసిస్టెంట్ పెట్టుకున్నా అక్కడ. ఫైన్. ఆ 2 daysలో స్పెసిఫిక్గా ఉండాలి. కోరికలు అడుగుతూ ఉంటారు, మాకు బెల్ట్ కావాలి. నన్ను అర్థమైందా? బెల్ట్ బెల్టే కదా 4-5 కావాలి, ఏ రంగు కావాలంటారేమో. బెల్ట్ కావాలి, అర్థమైంది కదా? సో నువ్వు బాగా సంపాదించాలి. సో నీ ఇన్కమ్ అప్పుడు దాని మీద డిపెండ్ అయ్యింది. సేవింగ్స్ కాదు నీ పాడే. నేను అర్థమయ్యేలాగా చెప్తా ఉన్నా, నీకు ఇంకా క్లారిటీగా చెప్పట్లే అంతే. ఇన్కమ్ ట్యాక్స్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ ఇన్స్పెక్టర్, ఎక్సైజ్ ఇన్స్పెక్టర్, ఇన్కమ్ డిపెండ్స్ ఆన్ ఎక్స్పెండిచర్. ఇంకా అర్థం కాలేదా? బ్యాంకులకి అయితే ఉండదు అది. ఇప్పుడు యూజువల్గా అయితే మనందరికీ ఎక్స్పెండిచర్ అండ్ సేవింగ్స్ డిపెండ్స్ ఆన్ ఇన్కమ్. ఎస్ ఆర్ నో? సో దిస్ ఈజ్ ఆల్వేస్ 100%. A person could say 15% of this. So expenditure 85%. This is weekly only. Weekly. If it is 15% savings yearly, monthly also 15%, weekly also 15%, daily also 15%. Right? Proportionately it increases or decreases. That's it. Next. What happened? If his wages were raised by 2 rupees per week, so now it becomes 100% plus 2 rupees. Right? Next, wages, income increased by 2 rupees per week. Expenditure increased by 10%. 10% of this number, 8.5 increased, right? So it becomes 93.5. Out of 100% plus 2 rupees, 93.5% is already over. Remaining 6.5% plus 2 rupees. Because when you add expenditure and then saving, you must get income. Clear? Right. And there's a difference between these two numbers. Look at your overall savings. Annual savings would be diminished by 26. Annual savings in the sense, how many years? 1 year. How many weeks? 52 weeks. For 52 weeks, savings decreases by 26. Half. Per week, half decreases. So difference between these two numbers will be half. Are you getting? So if you subtract half from this number, that must be equal to 6.5% plus 2 rupees. Take 6.5 here. Subtract 6.5 from this number. 8.5% is equal to, half goes to right hand side, that becomes 2.5. 17% is equal to 5. You need to calculate 100% is how much. Okay? Clear? 17 6 times. 17 6 times. Vertical comparison. 17 6 times. 1 or 2. Slightly less than that. 5 6 times. 30. Slightly less than that. 29 point something. How many options are there? How many are there? Only one. 29 something you have, right? That's your answer. Which is just less than 6 times of this number. So here also will be just less than 6 times. 6 times of 5 is 30. Answer is less than 30 but very close to 30. समझ गया? Right. चलो next. 22% gain is made by selling the mixture of 2 types of sandal powder, 732 per kg. If type costing 840 per kg was mixed with 84 kgs of the other type, how many kgs of former type are mixed? How many kgs? Answer. Answer. Cannot be determined. If you are asked about quantity of the second type, you must know cost price of 3 items. The first item cost, second item cost, and then mixer cost. Mixer selling price is given. Of course, if you have selling price, you can calculate cost price, no issue at all. By selling it for 700 and, where is it? 32. By selling it for 732, he is getting 22% profit. In the sense, selling price is 122%. Cost price will be 100%. You know how to do it, right? But you will get cost price here. You should know cost price of this item. How much is this? 840. You also need to know cost price of the other item. 1/6 less. 1/6 in the sense near about 120 less. 120 less in the sense answer would be definitely 600. Let me verify it. 10% 60, 20% 120, 2% 12. Add everything, you will get 732. That's it. So cost price is 600. If you know cost price of the second type, you can go for alligation so that you will get ratio. Some number, 1:2 or 2:3 or something. So that will be one part and then two parts. And here the first type is given as, second type is given as 84 kgs. So 2 parts is equal to 84 kgs. You can calculate 1 part is equal to how much. Provided if you have ratio here. If you want to have ratio here, you know difference of these two numbers here, which is 240. But you should know difference of these two numbers. So if cost price of the second item is given, you can get number here. If you have a number here, you will get ratio. If you have ratio, you can calculate this value. As this is not given, answer cannot be determined. You should know the reason also. Why are we not getting? Because second type cost is not given. Next. Answer cannot be determined. Next, 62. A trader marks his goods such that he can make 34.4% profit after giving 16% discount. However, a customer availed 26% discount instead of 16. What is the percentage of profit of the trader in case of this particular customer? Right. So if he is giving 16% discount, he will sell it for 84% of market price. He will sell it for 84% of the market price. Yes? And if he gives 26% discount, he will sell it for 74% of market price. And now, after giving 16% discount, he is getting a profit of 34.4%. 34.4% profit will be equal to 134.4% of cost price. And if you can calculate 74% of the market price in terms of cost price percentage, then you can calculate what percent of profit you will get. Yes or no? Right. Basic verification. It ends with 4. This also ends with 4. This ends with 4. Answer also ends with 4. How many are there? If you have only one, you are done. If you have only one option which ends with 0.4, yes, you are done. I have two options, so I am forced to do it. Now, 84 and then 134.4. Let me go for horizontal comparison. One time of this number is 84. Apart from 84, how much extra number you have? 50.4. 6 times of this number. 10% is 8.4, right? 8.4 6 times. 8.4 6 times. Right? So here also I need to add 74 and to this number 60% of this number, 10% and then 6 times. 10% is 7.4. 7.4 6 times. 6 sevens. 42. 0.4 6 times. 2.4. 42 plus 2.4. 44.4. So I need to add 44.4 here. Then that gives me 8.4. I am done, I think. I am done. You have two options which ends with 0.4. One ends with 7.4, the other one is 8.4. 8.4 is here. So I don't want to even calculate the previous number. If you are really interested, you will get this much. Answer is 18.4% profit. Next. The trader marks is good such that he can make 63. The average monthly income of ABC is 24,400 and that of BCD is 26,100. So for ABC it is 24,400 and from BCD it is 26,100. D is 117 by 54 times of A. What is the average monthly salary of B and C? You asked about average monthly salary of B and C. If you know A value, you can subtract it so that you can calculate B and C. Remember, this is average. Or else if you know D value, you can subtract D value from this, then you will get B and C. So average is this much. What about total? 24,400 into 3. 26,100 into 3. What is difference between these two numbers? Average difference is, how much is difference here? 1700 more. This is 1700 more than this number. So difference of total will be 1700 3 times. Right? Why is this difference? Why do we have extra value here? Why are we having extra value here? Because D is more than A. Yes or no? So D is how many times more than A? How many times of A? D is, listen carefully, D is how many times of A? 117 by 54. How many times more than A? 17 by 54. So 17 by 54 times of A is equal to this much. A value will be equal to 17 by 54 goes to right hand side and that becomes into 54 by 17. 17 how many times? 100 times. This much. How much is this? 162,000. So A value is 16,200. ABC together is this much. And you need to calculate B and C average. Subtract it from this number and then divide it by 2 will give you answer. This is one way. But my way is equality. Average of ABC is 24,400. If you subtract A, whose value is 24,400, average of B and C will be same as 24,400. Yes or no? But this is 16,200. You are subtracting 16,200. How much less we have? 8,200. 8,200. So for B and C, you need to add 8,200 and you are trying to calculate average. So 24,400 plus 8,200 by 2. This is 4,100. 24,400 plus 4,100. 28,500 is your average of B and C. This is equality concept. If you subtract A value, which is also same as 24,400, BC average will be 24,400. You are subtracting 8,400 less than the initial value. So B and C will get extra apart from 24,400. So now you need to divide 8,200 among A, B and C equally. So divide it by 2, 4,100 more than 24,400. Clear? Next, 64. A passenger train from Mumbai leaves for Delhi at 3 p.m. at an average speed of 55 km per hour. At 7 p.m., a super fast train also leaves for Delhi from Mumbai. So both are starting from same place. The first train started from Mumbai at 3 p.m. with a speed 55 km per hour, and second train started from Mumbai at 7 p.m. with a speed 77 km per hour. And you're asked about, okay, how far from Mumbai will the super fast train overtakes the passenger train? Passenger's train started at 3 p.m. and super fast train started at 7 p.m. In the sense, we have a gap of 4 hours. In that particular 4 hours, passenger train can cover 55 into 4 kilometers distance. So now at 7 p.m., super fast train will be at this particular point, which is Mumbai, and at 7 p.m. passenger train will be at this point. Distance between these two trains, in 1 hour it will cover 55 kilometers. In 4 hours it can travel 220 kilometers. Distance between these two trains is this much, 220. Now super fast train need to meet second train. So it has to cover 220 kilometers. You are trying to calculate time. What time it will meet? Time is equal to distance by speed. Both are moving in same direction. Need to go for relative speed. Relative speed is S1 minus S2, right? How much? 22 km per hour. So you will get time. After how much time? Super fast train will meet or cross the passenger train. But you are not asked about time. You are asked about distance. Distance is equal to speed into time, right? Yes or no? So it takes some time. Let's say X hours. X hours from where? X hours from starting time of the super fast train, right? Yes or no? And whose speed is 77 km per hour? Speed 77 km per hour into time. This is what the distance from Mumbai at which they will meet each other or cross each other. 11, 5 times. 11, 2 times. 2, 2 times. Yes or no? 10 into this, 770. First you need to calculate time and then you need to convert it to distance. Next, a boat can move 7.5 kilometers in still water. Man speed is given. The speed of the stream is 1.5 km per hour. The boat takes 60 minutes, in this sense 1 hour, to go from point A to B and then return to the starting point. What is the distance between two places, right? So let's say distance between two places as D. Boat traveled from A to B and then returned to A. In the sense, distance covered in that case will be 2D, total distance. Onward journey D, return journey D, total distance D. Total distance will be equal to total speed into total time. Total time taken is 1 hour, 60 minutes, 1 hour. And you need to consider total speed. So if a person traveled, if a boat traveled from A to B and then returned, from where you have speed for stream. So one direction must be downstream and the other must be upstream. Man speed is 7.5, stream speed is 1.5. Downstream speed becomes 9. Upstream speed becomes 6. So it is 9 km per hour and then return journey is 6 km per hour. Total journey for entire speed in the sense average speed. Average speed in the case of distance between two places are same, will be equal to 2ab by a plus b. 2ab by a plus b. Need to calculate d. 2 to cancel. 3 times. 3 5 times. 18 by 5 divided by 10 into 2. Divided by 10, 8.6 into 2, 3.6 kilometers.